So I was just going to start off with a bit of what is the shift in fitness, and then go on to how gyms can use AI day to day, some real examples in that space. Hi there. Right. And some of the things that Les Mills have introduced recently. And I've got a bit of an example of a tool I made with AI that could give you some ideas for marketing and some other bits and pieces. So you may have seen something similar to this before. The AI goes back quite a long time, actually. It goes back to the 30s, and we've seen evolution through the years. 1950 was really where AI started to come about a little bit more. And then obviously more recently with ChatGPT, but there's a nice overview of the timeline. Because it's not new. That, you know, machine learning has been around for a while. It's algorithms and using data to analyze and be more prescriptive, but it's just more automated now. And it's not, when we talk about ChatGPT, it's not really AI. It's learning models. So there's the evolution. It has been around a long time, and it's still evolving, but just a lot quicker. And this is quite interesting. Obviously, people get a bit more interested because the growth up to 100 million users globally for the likes of Google Translate is just obviously massive. But technology is becoming just part and parcel, isn't it? And people just kind of expect it these days. You know, it's just part of everything you do. And if you've got children, they just spend all their time on some kind of tech. So we have to embrace it in some way, but we also just have to remember the human side of it is still really important. We can't just leave it all to technology and AI. This is an interesting fact. 85% of use cases in AI actually fail, but most of the time it's because of the education side of it. We don't really understand it enough. We see it out there, so we want to bring it into the business, but the education isn't there. So we're not implementing it in the right way. So it's something to be aware of. It's not just one of those things you're just going to plug in and everything works. You have to really put some time into understanding why, how's it going to affect your business, what are the outcomes, and also make sure you're speaking to the right people to implement it in the right way. And then when it comes to the types of demographics that have the trust in AI, this could be quite surprising, maybe not. 17% boomers really don't trust AI, they don't want it. But when you look at Gen Z and millennials, there's a big percentage that they trust it because they probably use it, you know. And when you think about the TikToks and the Snapchats and all those kind of apps, they're all using it and it's all part of it, it's baked in. But that was does that surprise anyone at all? Probably not. Millennials are the ones though, they're the ones that are all over it. And when you're thinking about your clubs as well, you know, new members, you want to be looking at these two demographics because they're your future members, you know. It's great we service the whole demographic, but actually if you're thinking about future and growth, it's the Gen Zs and the millennials that you really need to get into your clubs. So what do you know the average age?
35 to 55 is that?
Okay. So great for now, but also in 10 years' time, some of those may not be coming back to your club. So you have to think about actually how do we get these millennials and Gen Zs into the club? But it's important to have a bit of everything for everybody. Do your customers want a relationship with AI or humans? Well, actually, it's a bit of both, isn't it? Because I think members are now expecting it. It needs to be part of something. They expect it because they're using it in everyday life, like ChatGPT. But also, we can't forget humans. Human interaction is so important. It's something we do a lot of at Les Mills. We really understand what motivates people, and it's human interaction. It's so important, which is why classes are so important in a club for retention and acquisition. It's that human interaction. So yeah, it's a bit of both. So different types of AI. I'm sure you're probably aware of most of these, but content creation is the one that we all know. Research, anyone used AI for research? Scraping demographics on websites and maybe competitors. Hey mate, how you doing? Coding. Coding actually, has anyone ever tried AI coding? Yeah? Yeah. What have you used?
I've just done ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. What, you've used Codex, is it, on there? Yeah. But a lot of developers are now embracing AI, and they may not use it for writing it, but they will audit with AI now. So it will read it, it will show you the errors, and But more so, what was it? What's the platform that they tend to use now? Cursor. Yeah, there's loads of them now, but it's definitely coming in more and more, and there will be a point where you won't need humans to type the code because it will be done by AI, unfortunately. Data analysts. So if you collect good data, which we all should be doing, AI can really quickly analyze it, look at the behaviors and trends, and then use that to predict what you should be doing with your business, whether it's marketing or lead generation. So really important there, and ChatGPT can do that quite well, but there's specific tools that can do it. Ideation, yeah, we can all use ChatGPT, put a prompt in there and it will come up with some ideas for you, but it's only as good as your prompt. And automation and personalization, and that kind of feeds back into data analysis. If you've got good data and you understand it and you can analyze it with the behaviors and trends, then you can help to personalize someone's journey. Because if you really understand what they've been doing over the last 12 months, you can give them good advice and good programming and scheduling based on that. So it becomes really personal. And kind of touching on it, but this is how those areas then fall into the fitness realm. So member onboarding for content creation. It's marketing at the end of the day, but again, these all kind of feed into each other. If you've got good data again on your demographics, on what people are doing outside of your gym, then you can use that to create really nice, powerful content. Instructor assessment as well. You can use AI to just build you out an assessment form quite easy. Put the prompt in of what the outcome should be. It will just come up with a form for you. You know, it just saves hours. In the research, thought leadership, we already spoke about. Building prototypes, digital experiences. So I'm going to show you an example in a minute, but there are a couple of tools out there. One's called Lovable, you may have heard of. Nope. And one's called Replit. Basically, you prompt it with natural language, and it will, if it's a website, for example, it will literally code it in minutes for you based on you just telling it what you want. It is amazing. You can upload things like brand documents. This is the font I want to use, this is the tone of voice I want to use, and it will...
What's it called again? The one
Lovable is a really good one,
okay.
and Replit. They're the two best ones that I've used, and I'll show an example of what I created in literally half an hour in a minute. But yeah, you can create pretty much anything these days. And it's called, there's a concept called NCP, but it now integrates other tools into it. So if you had a website and you wanted to integrate a chatbot, it can do that. There's so many things now, it's crazy. What's that? Create a driver tree. Yeah, ideation, it's different, just different types of frameworks. So you can tell it to ideate in a certain framework that you've learned about in the past, and it will just do it in minutes. And then obviously churn mitigation, motivation at scale. So that goes back to the data analyst, understanding behaviors and trends of your members and coming up with personalization and automation for that. So lots of really useful things there for your businesses. And this is just putting it into buckets, really. So there's growth, and we've got marketing, sales, content creation, etc. We've covered this, so we won't spend any time on there, but I will share this with you guys if you want it afterwards. And then just a bit more detail around automation. So you've probably done it, if you've ever done LinkedIn marketing campaigns, you've probably used lookalikes before, but it takes a bit of time. You have to have the lookalikes in the first place and examples of data, whereas now you can prompt AI to do that for you because it can just scrape the whole internet. It's got it all already. Dedupe is basically duplication, existing members, so basically enriching data. It's really good at doing that, so it will highlight duplicate emails and names, and you can just, in minutes, enrich your data. And chatbots to drive funnels. This is something that's really interesting. Actually, I've used it with HubSpot, where anyone that lands on the website, there's a chat that I've basically taught all the knowledge base for the business. I've put in guardrails around what not to talk about. And basically, if anyone lands on the website, the chatbot jumps in and it would just drive them to an outcome. So if my outcome is I want someone to book a Calendly meeting, everything it talks about will be driving it towards that meeting, and it will finish by saying, here's the link, book in a meeting. But it will talk as if we would, but it's a chatbot. So it's really useful because it's real time, and if you get them in real time, they're more likely to make a decision. Whereas if you were leaving it, so here's a contact form, I'm going to leave my email address, and 24 hours later someone gets in touch, they kind of lost the momentum, or 48 hours, whatever it may be. But real-time chatbots, AI agent chatbots, are really, really good for the business, and they're not expensive. Customer service, same kind of thing with chatbots, really, really good. And again, it's about knowledge base and guardrails, so just understanding that side of it. Onboarding can be the same, similar thing. Chatbots are quite useful for a lot of things, actually. But yeah, onboarding, it's giving knowledge base, creating documents, creating anything really. When it comes to onboarding, having the right marketing campaigns, email campaigns, automation, all those things. Churn, we've already spoken about churn and efficiencies, so I'm going to move on. So going into a bit more detail on those buckets, growth. So one thing that we do quite well at Les Mills, we use AI with a lot of our content creation. So I don't know if you know Les Mills, we have loads of content. So we have in live classes, but we also film it all to a really high level. And we have it for virtual. So you may have seen Les Mills Virtual and Club, but we also have content that integrates into an app or a portal, and it's available in your own ecosystem. So if you had an app for your gym, you could have Les Mills content baked into it, so it's integrated in. But also, because we're global, we need to have it in lots of different languages. So we've used AI to add different languages and dub over the top of a video. And that editing would take a long time for a person to do. But with AI, it just cuts that down to hours. So pretty cool. Again, we've touched on lookalike targeting and marketing tools. So that's something we do at Les Mills. Customer service, there's a couple of things we've done recently. Going back to Lovable, we've done a Lovable app for marketing tools. We did a return on investment calculator. So we trained it up in everything we know about Les Mills, our MVP insights, and lots of different reports that we've done with 4Global and Leisure Database. And then we've got some really simple questions, and then it spits out a score at the end of it and gives you some recommendations and how you can come to ROI if you were to bring Les Mills into your center. So it's a really cool tool that's interactive, but it gives you something tangible at the end of it. And that took, a day to make, and it's a really nice looking tool. It's basically an app. So that was something that we did, and we also have AI to help support the customer service team internally. So it's not a user-facing system, it's more for the internal teams, and that's often where AI can be really helpful. It's actually internal-facing tools that help you become more efficient. So there's quite a bit of that happening at Les Mills at the moment. Member newsletter, yeah, so that's pretty basic. Operating-wise, it's around content creation we've already spoken about, but you can now get the content to a really nice level where actually it looks like a designer would have created that, but it's AI. And if you prompt it in the right way and you give it the right brand assets, you can create really nice looking content for your onboarding. We've already touched on personalization. Churn-wise, predicting members, or when members and instructors might churn. Again, that goes back to the data analysts, but it's behaviors and trends. You can teach your AI agent, or whatever you use, to look out for certain trends that you know will lead to potentially someone leaving, or you can ask it to do that whole piece for you, because you give it 3 years data, for example, and it knows when people are leaving. It will look at the behaviors and trends that led to someone leaving. So we can do that for you. It becomes your analyst for you. So when I speak to any business about anything, it's, have you got good data? Do you collect data? How do you do it? Is it in a spreadsheet? Is it in a dashboard? Is it easy to access? But it doesn't really matter where it is now, because you can upload a spreadsheet into ChatGPT and it can analyze it for you if you prompt it in the right way. But always collect good data, whether it's, and it doesn't, as long as the metrics relate to your business outcomes that you're going for, then it's useful. So just make sure you've got good data, but do use AI to enrich it, because that's what it's there for. Let's make it more efficient. That's pretty straightforward. And efficiencies, again, we've spoken about all this. Timetable creation, like with the knowledge that we have at Les Mills, we've got probably millions of timetables that we've had access to over the years. So using that knowledge base that we have, we can train AI to create the best timetables out there, the right categories for your gym based on your demographics, when you should have them on the timetable, what times, what instructors should be teaching them, all those types of things as insight that we have.
Can I just ask about that? So, can you, shows my ignorance here, so can you put in from what you would think the best class would be, obviously connected to what the demographics are,
Yeah.
when you think it would be the most effective time to run that type of class?
Yeah.
And obviously you've got so many different types of classes.
Well, what you would do, so I created a tool a couple of weeks ago with AI, weirdly, and I uploaded all the knowledge base that we have on timetables, scheduling, etc. So if someone uploads a timetable for a club, it will basically spit out a chart that will show you the categories that you have now and what you should have. So it will do a comparison of what would work best for your club. And that tool will scrape the internet for your area demographics, any competitors that you have in your area, and all those types of things. So within minutes, you've got a timetable scheduling solution where actually the Les Mills team would have spent probably 6 to 8 hours doing the research themselves, building out a 15-page deck for that client, for one club. And now they can do it in minutes. It's crazy.
Can I just ask, do you have a team of people now that you're bringing in to do more of the AI?
Yes. No, I haven't been brought in for that, but I just, because I've got experience in it, I do it. But there is a team in New Zealand that are focusing on AI. Like I said before, most of it's actually internal. But I'm trying to think about the external, how we can help clubs and introduce new tools. So internal efficiency is really important for Les Mills right now.
That's a great upsell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than saying, you need to add this and you need to add that, and it's going to cost me X amount. Well, actually, this is showing you why you can do that and how cost effective it's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you at the point yet where Les Mills have got case studies of a program that has been created through that AI application, and then the impact that has had on ROI?
No, because it's literally been
still so new. Yeah.
2 months now. So yeah, but we know it will work because it's not new data.
Yeah.
It's just what we would have told you, but it's spitting it out in minutes because it's based on our knowledge base.
Which platform or program are you using, like, actually to, you said about crunching the class timetable?
Lovable I used.
Lovable.
Yeah. The Replit and Lovable are brilliant. There's so many things you can do with them. But I'll show you one in a minute.
Yeah.
This is quite cool. So for education and training, has anyone heard of Google Notebook LM? So Google, if you subscribe to Google One, you get Google LM included. I think it's like 16 quid a month, so it's not crazy. But how boring is it to learn like training manuals and health and safety and all that kind of stuff? You can take a document, upload it into Google LM, and you've got a load of options. One of them is do a podcast version of that. So it will just spit out a podcast of 5 to 10 minutes long, so you can just listen to it. Gives you quizzes and cards so that you can add an interactive quiz. And so everyone has to listen to it, and then here's a quiz. And it does a video version of it as well. So it's a bit more engaging. But instead of just having to read through a document and no one does it, now you can stick it on in the background. There's 10 minutes to listen to. There's a quiz at the end of it. Off you go. And it's accountable, but also it's so much more engaging. I don't know if this is going to play. But I just did a bit.
Gym isn't about having the fanciest equipment or even.
So it's an example of a podcast I did.
It's all about finding a specific type of member, a kind of hidden champion who holds the key to your long-term growth.
MVP report
Today,
came out
we're
quite
gonna dive
recently.
into a
It's quite a
massive
big
project
document.
that did
This is
just
what this
that.
is.
It uncovered the customers who can literally make or break a business. So let's be real. The
And that's
fitness world is crowded.
the video
right?
it spat out.
You've got boutique studios, high-tech home workouts, budget gyms everywhere. So how do the top players manage to pull away from the pack? Well, the answer isn't some new workout trend or a slick marketing gimmick. Nope, it's buried in the data, in the day-to-day behavior of millions of gym goers. And that's exactly what this study went looking for. Okay, so check this out. The whole European fitness market, it grew by a healthy 10% last year. That's pretty good, but look at the top 20 operators. They didn't just keep up,
You get
they
it.
blew past the market.
So that was, I think it's about 10 minutes long, that. So it took the MVP report, turned it into an interactive video, and just summarized it. Really easy. You can have it on in the background. You can watch it if you want to. And like I said, you could have a quiz at the end of it to see if you actually listened. But that's Google LM Notebooks. Amazing. It's a tool that so many people don't know about. But if you do any kind of training, upskilling, yeah, Google LM, it's amazing. I would certainly recommend it. And again, just a few of the bits that we do, we've already touched on. So around content creation, personalization, more internally, and customer service, more internally. But this is what I was wanting to show you. So this is getting towards the end now. But if you do the QR code, this is where it might not work. Try it first. I think I updated it, so I might have to show you a different one, which is fine, because if it doesn't work, I've got it here. Yeah. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
2 secs, try this one. Hopefully that one works. Yeah. So this tool I built in about half an hour. It's like a little app that does a survey. It makes it really engaging, and it will give you a score at the end, and some recommended next steps and things. So if you put that into your kind of, have a think about how that could be used for marketing or whatever, customer service. But I just want to show you an example of what you can do with that Lovable. Looks and feels nice. I might be able to see a... It shouldn't take too long to do. So this kind of tool I find quite useful because it gives you that tangible score at the end of it, shows you where you are as a business, and then just gives you some recommended next steps of how to improve, and if you wanted to, book a call. But for marketing, there's so many ways you could use something like that. But that's just one example of what Lovable can do. Look how good it looks. It's branded really nicely, really simple, took me half an hour. Whereas last year, I would have had to get a team in to code that up, design it first, make sure that looks good, go back and forth probably for a day or two, then get the team to actually code it and create it, which takes another couple of days, but it cost, what, a couple of grand? And I've done it for 30 quid so, in half an hour. And I don't need to hand it off to any other teams. So that's the kind of stuff that I think is really powerful.
So different ways.
Yeah, it get you thinking.
Does it also give you like prompted questions as well, or would you?
No, you have to come up with it.
All right, so you can use AI to prompt the questions.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So with ChatGPT, because this is like a $30 a month subscription, and you get a certain amount of credit. So I don't want to use it for that side of it. So I go to ChatGPT and say, right, I want to create a Lovable app for this. Bam, 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 bam. These are the outcomes I want. This is how I should structure it. These are the types of questions that are going to be really important. And then bang, it spits it out. And it will either, ChatGPT will either code it already for you, and I can just paste it into Lovable, or it will just give the prompt in natural language and paste that into Lovable. But just honestly, half an hour, and it's got a really nice looking app.
So can Lovable create, let's say, create something like this, and package it into say like a widget that I can then input into our website
Yep.
as well? That's all.
You can connect it to your current domain.
Yeah.
So the ROI calculator that we did for Les Mills is now on the Les Mills domain. So if you go to lesmillsroi.com or whatever it is, it's actually on their domain, so you can connect it. You can also, with Lovable, buy a new domain in there. So if you created something new, you can search for a domain and buy it within Lovable and connect it. So you've got your own website. It's crazy.
Well, so you could do that, and then once you get information, you can then create a website within that.
You could build out a website literally in half an hour, get a new domain, and have a brand new website with the right domain done. It's unbelievable. So many people don't know about this, and they'll go and pay these guys, designers, and yeah, but I want you to succeed. Yeah, you can all come to me.
I was going to say, why am I paying you?
Yeah.
A little bit different from your situation,
No, I know.
but yeah, that's where I wanted to get to. You know, these tools can really help you with your business, whether it's marketing, you can use it as, you know, surveying. What else could you do? You can a website. You can, with these, integrate chatbots and agents. So, but you probably need a bit more knowledge, and you'd have to get an expert in to come and help you with the agent side. But that can be integrated into something as well. But
Do you think that's where that original stat, how that goes so wrong then, with 85% of them not?
yeah,
Because people are relying on AI, not really having the full understanding of it.
that's it. A lot of people that would have failed haven't spoken to experts and people that are in the space and get that help. They try and do it themselves.
That's what I said to you earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, what
How do you find an expert?
I can help by I actually chair the AI initiative for the Global Wellness Institute, and I sit with 5 or 6 really great people around the globe actually from the wellness space. So if you need help, I can help you. But you know, social media is so good. I know X isn't very good, but it has some amazing people in the AI space that post stuff all the time, just following the right people. But LinkedIn's a good start. People like Tiffany St. James is a really great thought leader in AI. And there's a guy called Craig, why have I forgotten his surname? Who's really, actually, he puts a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. So follow Tiffany St. James and Craig, what the hell? Hepburn. Craig Hepburn, he's really good. He actually used to work for UEFA, and then he created his own digital agency and then went into AI. He's very, very good. So yeah, and then once you follow them, others' suggestions will come up, and follow me as well, because I'll try and put some stuff on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, you know, those are the kind of things that are going to help you with your business and can be quite quick wins and save a bit of resource. If you're thinking about hiring a new marketing team, probably don't need to. You can create a lot of the content yourself, and if you're thinking about hiring someone for your website, do it yourself. Have a play yourself, or even get the design in Lovable and say, look, this is exactly how I want it to look. Now you can go and do it if you're not happy with the whole process. Yeah, just save time.
The massive price you normally are going to charge, because I've done most of it.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. But I think that was it, yeah. So I hope that was quite helpful, guys. Kind of spat through it quite quickly, but yeah, you know, I want to keep it quite high level. We don't want to go into a lot of detail, but yeah. Any questions on anything?
You know, you said about asking the right questions, yeah? That, how do you get there? You know, because sometimes you just want, I want a marketing campaign for my fitness club,
Yeah.
right? Is there specific things you need to
Yeah.
put in there?
So I would always put things like, the demographics I want to appeal to are this age group, well, I live in this area, this postcode, and actually ChatGPT can scrape that postcode for you. You can ask it to do some research on that area for you. But you need the outcomes, what you're trying to achieve as a business, the types of people, and maybe just frame it in a certain way that you want to see it.
If you put in there that you were going to, this is probably going a bit from, if you put in there that you wanted to attract this type of, because you've got, this
Yeah.
is the people you're attracting, but it's obviously a massive amount. If you put in there, these are demographics I want to attract, what would I need to have to drive those demographics, you know, the
Yep.
decondition,
So-
you know, the whatever it's going to be.
So that can come down to deep research, and ChatGPT again can do that.
Right.
So you would ask it, what are the latest trends
Yeah.
that
And
millennials,
what
yeah, so see what they're doing, but also they may not be doing it right
No.
either. But your best, because you can get a report from Full Global or Leisure Database and upload it into ChatGPT. It's got all the insights then. Then you will ask it a question on, actually, I want to appeal to millennials. In this is my demographic. Do some deep research in my area. Find out how old the people are in my area on average, and then use the report to then come up with the types of classes I should have for this demographic. And if you write that in, it will start spitting out some really cool stuff.
On Tuesday, after I spoke to you, I was speaking to Dave Minton,
Yeah,
and he was telling me, and it just shows you the power of AI, he was telling me that he was speaking to the guys at Pure, who were just opening massive amount of clubs in, I think it was in Holland.
yeah,
And he turned around to the guy, and I think they were opening 3 within the next sort of few weeks.
mm.
And then he said he went onto his phone, and Dave Minton was obviously an absolute legend. He's gone onto his phone, and he's basically told these guys clubs that he wasn't even aware was opening nearby. You know what his competitors were going to be, and obviously, let's face it, they're going to have as much information as they. But quite clearly, they weren't using the kind of information that Dave was using. And he said, he goes, oh, really? He said, oh, that's okay. And and it's funny. It happened to me with a client in Haywards Heath.
Oh
I
yeah,
was going to see his new site, and there's nothing to do with AI, but it probably shows where he could have benefited. He's opened his site, shown me some amazing location. I said, oh, that's great, blah, blah. And then he said, oh, yeah, I've got a bit of bad news. And he said, I've just found out there's a place opening opposite. Which he may have done. Obviously, he's now got a signed lease, and now he's got an issue. He's now going to try and, he's got to deal with it. So what I'm saying is, that way as well could help.
Yep.
Certainly when I open
Well,
clubs.
well, it goes back to the start. Humans and AI work really well
Yeah,
together. You
yeah.
don't just want one or the other. It's a bit of both.
I
Yeah,
think what I've learned over the last 18 months of using it since we've been
Yeah.
speaking really is that also not to take it at face value from the offset, so
Yeah.
actually be curious with it.
Yeah,
So you can ask it a question, like Andy said, the more you prompt it, the more you're going to get out of it.
yeah.
But like loading spreadsheets, I don't know why I haven't loaded customer data into it, as in my client data into it to create them reports off the back of it before, because it's gone from taking me 3 days to write a report with recommendations and outcomes and a proposal to literally maybe 3 hours max, because although the AI is crunching the data for me, I'm asking it to tell me, I'm telling it what to pull out for me,
yeah,
but then also telling it all the things that I want to know, so things like demographic information, whereas before I would have gone and Googled it and
Yeah.
researched it, and
Yeah.
it's saving so much
And
time.
also, as you do the next one, it's going to be easier as well.
and
because
it's
it knows it.
learning-
It learns.
It's learning my format
Yeah.
as well, so I've uploaded into it some of my previous reports.
That's what I was going to say. And
Yeah,
use it as a
I've literally
template.
given it all of the information,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, right, now I need to create a report for this client
Yeah.
using this data. I want this outcome and this proposal, and it's literally just like done.
Yeah, I don't know in ChatGPT if you do it, but if you save it as a project, so everything you do, save as a project. So you just
We also have a team as well, so
Yeah.
every member of our team who's using ChatGPT on a daily basis, like we use it all the time now.
Yeah.
So that it's constantly feeding our
Yeah.
team
And you
channel
just
with
get-
all
it's
of
getting
our
more-
information.
it's getting cleverer and
So
cleverer.
It's becoming
Yeah.
more and more efficient. So we're going through a process of SEA regulation at the minute and applying to be an awarding organisation. And it would have taken us such a long time to produce the submission. And actually what it's allowed us to do is really condense the focus, like streamline the focus and create documents which we know are absolutely aligned because of everything that we fed it already.
Wow.
And all your
We've got
team
4
collaborates.
We've got 4 of
yeah.
us working on it in one go.
Yeah.
I'm producing it, someone else is reviewing it, correcting it, formatting it,
Yeah.
and spitting it out then into a complete.
And that
Yeah.
shows you how you do need the interaction of
Yeah.
humans and AI, but obviously you can...
It's only as good as a human prompting
Yeah.
it in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the
Keep
problem.
asking it different questions. So like, we would say, can you provide me with a marketing template for such and such? So it'll kick out something, and you can say, well, actually, is that the best for marketing to millennials? Or upload your data, and then say, what am I missing in terms of my membership base? Who am I missing? And then it will say, well, actually, if you, based on this, your demographic is this, you've got options for growth in these areas.
But that's also a really good way to do it, by the way. So if you get to the end of what you've been doing and say, right, you now need to be the CEO of this company. I want you to review this in the eyes of us, or the shoes of a CEO. Tell me strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, whatever. But it will put a CEO's hat on. So if you tell it to be a certain person, it will look at it in a certain way.
As well.
Yeah, yeah. So, or I'm an operations director, or you're an operations director, or financial director. Now you need to look at it.
I could just see, the only thing is, I could just
It's
see
in-
you
it's
incredible.
being there for ages, just sort of like thinking, oh, what about this, what about that? And then before you know it's...
But I think as well, as small business or as independent business owners, the other thing is, like, we don't have expertise in every single area of business.
Yeah.
But what it does allow you to do is actually understand more about HR or finance.
Mhm.
So you can start exploring areas before you actually have to seek external guidance and pay for services. So there's so many things that you can do with it if you're curious about it.
And also do get rid of all those boring stuff like health and safety audits
And it
and
saves
things
so
like
much time.
that. Yeah.
So much time.
Exactly.
Can I just ask, so you do this, you've done your searches, you've got your data, your targets. Have you found that where you then apply that marketing material has changed, or do you use different platforms depending on what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, yeah.
Has that
So,
altered as you
so
develop it?
if you don't know it already, you can ask ChatGPT what demographics use what.
Which
It will tell you, yeah. So, you know, Facebook's slightly older demographics these days, and Snapchat and Instagram are the younger demographics, but it will give you that research so you understand it. And then, so the platforms haven't really changed that we've been using. LinkedIn's useful for B2B, you know, Instagram's always going to be great for the millennials, but get ChatGPT to tell you where to go as well.
And what,
Yeah,
as
and
well.
what, yeah.
Like, what content should I be putting out to this?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Can you give me some examples of? And it will literally give you the whole.
Yeah, because you could, yeah.
Can you give me a
But that's where the-
marketing plan for the next 6 weeks targeting?
But that's that lookalike piece is quite important. So if you know a brand that you want to aspire to, you can get a lookalike version. So ask ChatGPT to analyze that brand. That's exactly the clientele we're going after. I want to replicate that in our way, and this is how it wants to look. But it's a lookalike of that particular brand. Where do they post? What, you know, what's their reach? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But
And if you're writing anything, ask
it just-
to write in British English.
it's just it's never ending. You can just keep going, and you'll learn more. So just always read, like, because when I say speak to an expert, there aren't really experts out there because it's changing every week.
Yeah.
People have to keep up to date with it, and there's no reason why you can't be an expert as well, because it's just reading and watching videos, and YouTube are full of it.
Is there anything you're seeing from your business, or you think there's going to be big changes next year in AI and fitness, or how it might change the client experience side?
The problem we have in our industry is data. We don't collect it. Well, we collect it, but we don't have access to it very well. So a lot of the membership management systems, they're okay, but actually, because they're legacy tech, it's really hard to integrate new tools into them. So it becomes a problem when we're trying to acquire the right data to automate. But we can manually do it as well. But if you're, you know, so some of the clubs we speak to have got 100 sites and they've got 100 different spreadsheets, and it's just a bloody
What
nightmare.
it's going to do is make it so competitive. That's what it's going to
Yeah.
do. Because effectively you can get things so quickly.
Yeah.
Faster paced.
But I really do think personalization is the next thing, because once you've got that data on, like, little things, if you have an app as a gym and you've integrated, and I'll talk about this all the time, into Apple and Google Health Kits, you've suddenly got data for people, what they're doing in your gym, but suddenly what they do outside the gym as well. And those behaviors and trends are so powerful when you want to market to a target market. You know what exercises they're doing in your area. How easy is that for you to market to? You can then inspire them back into your club.
Create communities, create...
Yeah.
How does that actually integrate? I didn't say like
You wouldn't integrate it. You would just, what, the Apple and Google?
Let's say
Yeah.
Apple, you
So it's quite easy, actually. There's ways to do it. You can build it into a back end. It's, when I say easy, it's quite an but it will, yeah. But it has to be done through an iOS or Android app. So you'd have to have an actual app on the App Store. That's the only way you can do it. But yeah, you just have to speak to tech guys. But there's nowhere near as expensive as it used to be, because a lot of AI is used to help develop that now as well. So if you speak to the right people, you can do it for a good price. But it's not.
So when you say personalisation,
So the first thing would be smart notifications, for example. So I know what you've been doing for the last 7 days, and I've seen a change in something. So it could be heart rate, could be your sleep poor over the last couple of days, for example. So it send a smart notification, say, look, I've seen you're struggling with your energy levels today. Maybe just do a yoga session at this time. We've got it on in club, you know. So it's smart notifications that are personalised to you based on data.
are you aware of
You'd be like that when you'd be
people
like...
doing that?
Yeah, there are. So has anyone ever tried Whoop?
Yeah, yeah.
So Whoop is really good at AI, smart notifications and coaching. And that coach is part of the coaching concept. But-
is that like integrated into a club yet? Like
No,
David Lloyd?
good to see you. Yeah, but no, that's the problem, because accessing the data is the issue. It's legacy tech. So until clubs start using newer tech, it's going to be quite hard to do it. But there will be clubs that are, maybe small clubs, new clubs have done it. I haven't seen any really great examples. The best examples are the clubs that are using AI agents as customer service bots and answering questions based on knowledge base that they've uploaded, and they've seen, you know, complaints go down and maybe,
I guess, like, like
yeah.
they say, small even though it's legacy tech, it's a small
Yeah.
independent gym, there's not going to be loads of data.
no, and it's a lot, because you can build your own app quite quickly now. You can even, there's AI apps out there. So as a new business, you can have your own management system. You don't have to go to a big supplier that's 20-year-old tech. So, but that will definitely be what's next. And I know there are companies out there that are trying to make that happen quicker. That integration layer is being discussed at a corporate level. So there are things happening. So when they happen, that will help speed up the personalization side of it. But it's the likes of Les Mills that need to be leading with it. And it's something we should be doing. And it is in the roadmap, but it's not as quickly as I'd hope. Yeah.
Really fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are there any potential issues, like you said, your notifications talking about seeing your heart rate fluctuate, stuff like that? Where's the boundary between that's good advice as opposed to the science advice?
It's you. Yeah, at the end of the day. And so guardrails are basically things that the agent shouldn't do. So you would have to train it. So you give it all the great knowledge, but also you'd have to say, if someone asks this question, make sure you respond like this and don't say this. You know, it's that kind of stuff. But you tell it not what to do. But you should be using science-backed training, kind of, what's the word? Education. Like, take education from, I don't even know, SimpSpa, for example, and say these are training principles. That was the word I was looking for. That we should be using when you're.
Like an AI agent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
But it's only as clever as what you give it. So it's the knowledge base that you give it.
practically, which AI agents would you like them to use, or how would you?
So the main models are OpenAI. They're language learning models. So OpenAI is a language learning model. Claude or Anthropic is one. What's another good one? DeepSeek, but it's Chinese, so you may not want to use it. Grok from X, Elon's. So they're all language models and will be able to create agents. But OpenAI is probably the best one to use. And it's really easy to do. You can get an API code in OpenAI in your account. And it's quite cheap as well, actually. You give it 10 quid credit and it will last you a long time. So if I was building a Lovable app and I wanted to integrate an agent, I would go into OpenAI, I would get an API code, I would put it into Lovable, and it has secret boxes, and it will do it for you. And then it would create an agent and talk to OpenAI, create that agent for you, prompt it in, do all the things you need to do, and then that would become live. So I've done it where I've built chatbots within a Lovable app, and it's doing real-time, scraping websites and doing all sorts. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's gone to another level.
Yeah, we've got to embrace it, and just step by step, little bits at a time, learn as much as you can, talk to as many people as you can, and test it.
Do you find your chatbots get a lot of use relative to the old system of contact us, drop us an inquiry?
Yeah, the evidence in the industry is they are becoming more used because they're getting better answers. Yeah, and they feel human, but they're not. So the great thing about it is 24/7. AI doesn't sleep, whereas the human chatbots, it was between 9 and 5. But now, it doesn't matter what time, you can get an answer straight away in real time. So that's the difference. Cool. Well, thanks for coming. Made it a bit more interesting for me. I thought it was going to be no one.
Are you full time at Leslie?
Yeah.
What was your job role there?
It's a good question, actually.
Everything.
Utility at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Les Mills 6 years ago and I've just come back. So I'm kind of defining what my focus is going to be. So, but AI will be part of it. Yeah. Cool. Well, it was great to meet you all.
Thank you very much.
No worries.